Imagine your teenage daughter being cornered in public, crying, while 6 older women scream at her about being a bad Christian. That was the moment I knew my ex-mother-in-law had officially gone too far. She used her church to humiliate us. So I exposed every one of her dirty secrets, right inside that same church. If you've ever felt helpless while someone used lies and manipulation to destroy your family, this story will hit hard. Hit that like button, subscribe for more true stories, and buckle up, because this revenge is layered, personal, and deeply satisfying. My name is Rachel, I'm 46, and I'm raising 2 incredible daughters, ages 17 and 15, on my own. My ex-husband died last year in a car accident, and it should have been a moment for healing. But instead, it opened the gates of hell. My ex and I were already in the middle of a messy divorce when he died. Why? Because I discovered he had been cheating on me with another woman and had fathered 2 sons with her. And here's the kicker. That woman died in the same accident. Now my daughters, who had uncovered the affair, were suddenly being expected to play big sister to 2 orphan boys they'd never met. Children born of the same betrayal that tore our family apart. They were traumatized, and we were barely holding it together. Enter my ex-husband's parents, 80-year-old grandma and 78-year-old grandpa. From day one they made it clear. They wanted custody of my daughters, and they wanted to move into my house. Their logic? It's what their son would have wanted. I didn't just say no. I said hell no. Custody? We're going to court. Living with us? Not a chance. And after that, things got dark, fast. A few weeks ago, I took my girls to the local weekend market. It's our little tradition. My youngest was turning 15, and I gave her a budget to buy whatever she wanted, mostly sweets and treats. An hour later, my phone buzzed. It was her. She was crying. Mom, I don't know what's happening. These old women, they cornered me. They won't let me leave. My heart dropped. I ran across the market with my eldest daughter and found my youngest surrounded by 6 older women, all screaming about how she was unchristian for refusing to talk to her grandparents, for turning her back on her orphan baby brothers. My girls aren't cruel. They're hurting. They're in therapy, working through the betrayal, the loss, and the emotional whiplash of their father dying just months after destroying our home. I physically stood between those women and my daughter, told my eldest to pay for her sister's stuff and head to the car. One of the women had the nerve to look me in the eye and say, "You're the problem. You refuse to obey your in-laws like a good Christian wife." We were asked to leave the market because of the commotion. But those women, they followed us to the car like vultures, hurling judgments until we drove away. That night, after my girls went to bed, I messaged an old friend from my ex-in-law's church. What he told me made my blood boil. My ex-mother-in-law had written this sob story in the church's Facebook group, claiming my daughters and I had abandoned her, that we were leaving her and her husband homeless and penniless, that my girls had refused to even speak to their poor grandparents, that we were heartless monsters for not taking in the baby boys. She even lied about how the boys came to be, claimed the woman was a surrogate because I couldn't have more children, and that I rejected the babies because they were boys. The lies weren't just cruel, they were disgusting. And her little pity parade worked. Church members were pouring in sympathy, food, even money. But here's the thing about that church. They may be old school about a lot of things, but they have one very specific, unforgiving rule. Cheating is a sin. A big one. That's when it hit me. My divorce wasn't finalized when my ex died. And I had everything. Every screenshot. Every picture. Every lie. And legally, I could expose all of it. The next day, I printed everything. Photos of my ex making out with his affair partner in our living room. Texts between them. Messages from his parents supporting the affair. Emails where they called my daughters bastards. And one horrifying message where they blamed my girls for their father's death, just days after he passed. Then, I crafted personalized binders, designed like the prayer booklets the church hands out every Sunday. On the front page, a full-color photo of my ex and his mistress, locked in a kiss. Underneath, ex's name and other woman's name. A Christian love story. I placed them on the church's back desk, right where the forgotten hymnals go. I didn't even have to wait a day. The gossip storm exploded. My ex and his mistress were called every name in the biblical book of insults. The Facebook group imploded. The pastor had to step in just to keep things PG-13. The truth spread like wildfire. Suddenly, the church wasn't just angry about the cheating. They were furious about how my daughters had been treated. But here's the kicker. Some still thought I was in the wrong for getting a divorce. But even they added, "It's understandable, given the betrayal. Maybe one day she'll return to the light." Just not like him and that Jezebel, though they used a far worse word. My girls got 2 apology letters in the mail, and an invitation to join the church for support. As for my ex-in-laws, they were shamed out of the church completely. My ex-MIL made one final Facebook post, crying about how no one cares for the elderly, about how her great son would have taken care of her. With what money? He didn't have any. I was the breadwinner. She's now isolated, abandoned by the very community she weaponized against us. And I sleep a little easier every night knowing this. My daughters will never again be humiliated for someone else's lies. Sometimes justice doesn't come through the courts or karma. Sometimes you have to deliver it yourself. With receipts, with precision, and with righteous fury. Because when you protect your kids from trauma and manipulation, that's not revenge. That's love. If this story gave you chills, or made you want to high-five this mom, smash that like button. And tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories of betrayal, redemption, and epic payback.